everybody. So today we're going to do a short mail time. I'm going to try to put the Donmore station together. I'm not feeling that great right now. One of the guys at work had a little bit of a stomach bug, and I think my family did as well. And yeah, I call it that. Nothing better than upchucking for a whole day. But I'm finally able to get water back in me, and that seems to be starting to get a little more clear-headed. But it's just one of those things that happens, and it's been going around, so it's been icky. But I want to as well do a short talk about what's going on with the channel right now, because there's a bunch of stuff that's sort of on hiatus. It'll get back to it, but it's just one of those things because of the whole citations thing, and I'm still working on getting that camera going. Just not feeling that great right now. Had a good hike with Ralph. That was a lot of fun. So let's get to the mail. So this first card, Happy Valentine's Day. This is actually from Ralph Watts, who I went hiking with. We're going to do that new series. So it's really cool. He sent this card. He has a thing where he wants to send these out to let people know that they're appreciated, and Ralph, you are appreciated as well. So thank you for that. I have this note from Kate. As always, our communications via email and this note. I believe there was a gift in there. If there wasn't, I apologize. I just can't remember right now. My brain is like sort of one of those things when you get sort of feverish and you're sort of like, your mind keeps on going over one or two things and you're just not all there. It's sort of where I'm at right now. Like, I'm feeling better than I did yesterday, but anyways, and if I don't get all the cards that have been since, like, I'm doing from Valentine's Day on, I think I had got everything from before, but I got to look through the cards and then make sure, because I want to give the proper thanks. Got this. I love these old, it's like the Victorian age cards. Valentine's greeting. This is from Linda. Thank you as well, Linda, for that gift. It will go definitely to help with the channel. And last but not least, we have this card from Concerned Grandma. As always, thank you for the note. Thank you for the gift. It helps with gas, because gas is pretty atrocious right now, but hopefully it'll wind out going back down. Like right now, I'm sort of sticking around. I'm doing a lot of filming in Lebanon right now, Lebanon, Pennsylvania. I did the Donmore station about a week ago, but I was holding off on that because I'm going to need to add some pictures of the Patch family, of the actual station, which was torn down in 1974. I just want to make sure I get as close as I possibly can. Plus, I got to do the railroad intro, outro, and make sure I get everything on that. So it's a little bit of work that I got to do with that, and then maybe try to get that out later today or tomorrow. So right now, what we're doing with the channel, we just did Lights Fort. That was something that we promised for a while, and really, really cool place. A lot more history to that place than I realized. Some sort of neat stories that went with it. Sad, about the little Indian girl and stuff like that. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but it's one of the rumors or stories, myths that go along with that place, and they talk about that's one of the hauntings there, and then the colonial gentleman in the colonial garb. They don't really say much about him, but the one guy got pretty creeped out that was working there when they were doing some restoration work on it. But it's a really neat place, except for that half of the third floor. It's still there, and it definitely served a lot of different usages. It's very, very old building, coming up on 300 years old, so in really, really good shape. But that's another example of these groups that do preservation and watch over our history, whether it's buildings or whatever it might be. They do such a phenomenal job with that, and it was a real pleasure to go and visit there again. Cliff and I had visited a number of these places in that Searching for History series, Lebanon, Pennsylvania. So we had hit that. I had stopped by Monument Park, right near my foster sister, or I was just say my sister, because she is my sister, and I love her to death. And we actually ran into each other then too, which was really, really cool, because I I was thinking about stopping, and I was like, there's a lot going on right now with a lot of work for her daughter-in-law, and so I was like, well, I'll stop by because I like to take my sister Donna to go see my mom, and right now it's just been really rough with just trying to work a schedule out in that regard. But it was cool to get to see her and her granddaughter Leah. That was really neat. It was fun to talk to them. And then I got to hit a number of these different really cool churches for some more of these historic hometown churches and do a lot of the photography because I want to put together the montage intro outro, because if I can use all my own pictures, that's one less thing I got to worry about with doing citations. Not that I don't want to do that, I do, but it's just trying to, with working as much as I am now, I'm doing some stuff for myself as well. So overall it's going well. It's just this thing hits and it's sort of like, I really wanted to work today because yesterday we didn't work because it was supposed to rain throughout the day, and then it really didn't do much again. But both Jim and I are so tired. I mean, we're old fat men. It's funny, like the oldest guy, Rich, has like boundless energy and just sort of runs circles around us. But it was good to have off yesterday. But then around the afternoon, I got sick. But anyway, so right now, like I still have in the works the Milton Hershey video, a lot of research with that. I have everything lined up how I want to do it, but until I get everything situated with those citations and making sure I'm doing it properly, I want to wait to do any more of those videos where I use a lot of pictures, because like I said, channel's growing again, and when you do get monetized, you got to be really, really careful, because you have the whole I've talked about this a number of times. You have the copyright claims, which really don't affect you because anybody can claim anything and you can dispute that. But then you have the copyright strikes, which are bad. And especially if they see you as a repeat offender or as somebody that's just sort of skirting everything and doesn't care, especially when you're a smaller channel, they'll end you. So it's something I really want to make sure I get taken care of for legal purposes, but also because it's the right thing to do. So it's just taking longer than I was hoping, just because getting back into doing this with landscaping, you get really tired, and I have been on and off sick. But we had that series that we just did. I added a bunch of other videos that Ralph and I did together, the elk country, searching for elk video, and then the two in Jim Thorpe. The one was a road trip from Jim Thorpe to Pottsville, I believe. Going home, and then main attractions, which is going to be a part of that About Town series, but it's going to be where we visit the local businesses present day and just sort of show what the town has to offer. And it's a way as well as giving back and giving them free publicity and letting people know, hey, there's a lot of cool restaurants and cool stores in this area. Come visit Annville, come visit Jim Thorpe. And I think you work hand in hand in that regard. It's good for everybody. But so doing that, and then there's a number of other things. Like I want to hit that Cornwall and Lebanon railroad station. That's probably the next one. And then Salem Evangelical Lutheran will be the first of the historic hometown churches that I'll actually hit and do the first of the real series. I did the other two, which was more, I wasn't originally planning on filming. I believe it was St. Mark's or St. Luke's Episcopal Church. But the bell started ringing, and I was like, well, I got to film. And the architecture was so phenomenal. But there's a lot more information about that church, being like who designed it. It was a pretty famous architect from New York City that actually designed that building in 1880. And then we did the Tabor Reformed Church. I guess at the time that it was called the First Reformed Church Cemetery. A lot of cool history there. We'll actually make a run through there again because I did a bunch of research on it for the Find a Grave app, and I found there's a U.S. congressman that's buried there. There's just 4 really cool, like sort of tall monuments. The Gleinger family. Well, the one guy the patriarch of our family, he was a U.S. representative, also a judge, very famous judge in Lebanon County, which back then it might have been. I gotta look at when Lebanon County officially started, but it might have been Lancaster County back then, because it sort of had as everybody sort of went westward, you had like counties like Lancaster and Berks. It's sort of like when you look back at the colonies, like North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, they all sort of extended out before like Tennessee and Kentucky got started, and some of those other states. Pennsylvania was the same way. It sort of went out, just sort of straight out through into Ohio, and then eventually the boundaries got made, and then those states got made. It's sort of the same thing with these counties. They just sort of extended out. They didn't have an ending at that stage because they were, that's just how they did it back then. Yeah, so eventually then as more and more people moved into these areas, then they made other counties just to sort of narrow it down. So Dauphin and Lebanon County would have both been made, because we talked about that when we were at Dairy Churchyard. It wasn't, I don't think it was Dauphin County then. It was, might have been Lancaster County. I can't remember correctly, but that's a cemetery as well. I want to go back because there's a lot of really interesting people, interesting stories of the people that are buried there. Like one, for instance, his father was a Scottish chieftain, and he died in this one battle with the English, and then they moved over here to America. So he was the son of a Scottish chieftain that was killed in battle against the English. Pretty cool. Bunch of other of the really the first people in those areas that really important. But there's a lot of different things that I want to do. A lot of it's going to, like Cliff and I are going to go out and do some stuff. I believe Ralph and I are going to be doing some hiking. I don't know if I'm going to try to do something quite as long again. It was really awesome, a lot of fun. We didn't see a whole lot of the wood frogs in their Boom Boom Fun Time Village, but we probably were a little early because normally, as Ralph was saying, you'll see a couple dead ones floating on the top after they've been having their hanky panky. That is a really impressive sight because there's just hundreds, if not thousands, of them in these little ponds, and and there weren't. I don't think there were that many eggs where you would say something had gone on to this point, but not a whole lot. It's sort of the early season, so. I want to take you up to Boxcar Rocks. We went by that this time. Probably a good time to go at some point here early because which Cliff and I have gone in the summer and we've never run into snakes, but it is like copperheads and rattlesnakes. And there's something I didn't say about, which I'll have to show pictures at some point. My dad and his friends back in the 50s and 60s, they used to catch rattlesnakes with their bare hands. He has pictures of that. I remember telling him, I was like, "You were nuts." And he's like, "Yeah." He said, "We're lucky we didn't get bit." But they had a way of doing it, coming up behind them, and then I guess probably using a stick or something like that to hold them down and then grab them with their hands. I'm assuming that's what they did because otherwise you really are nuts. Even more so than what I'm thinking. But yeah, so there's a bunch of cool things that we'll be having coming up. I just want to get better. Hopefully today it's just one of these 24-hour flu bugs, stomach bugs, because it's sort of going around right now. And just get myself rehydrated and maybe get back to work tomorrow. I'm not really sure. I'm not pushing myself because I really don't feel very well. But so we'll have a bunch of cool stuff. And like I said, we got a bunch of tales of hometown history available. Pearl S. Buck, I want to do that because Colleen had sent me all those pictures. The Dorsey brothers, I'm holding off on that one, and Shenandoah, because you got to use pictures because I want to show you what they look like, their bands, that type of stuff, because they're pretty important guys back there. And I guess it'd be like the 20s and 30s and 40s, like the big band era. And I think Frank Sinatra got his start with them as well. And the other one that she sent me two. She sent me one on the Girl Scouts, which I got to look at that just to go through. I might be able to do that one right away as well for the Pennsylvania Historical Marker Series. The viewers submitted videos. And she did one more, which is on, I think it's Shenandoah, if I'm not correct, but it's like the Lithuanian, because like a lot of those villages and small towns up in that area were very Eastern European influence. So you had a lot of the really cool like Eastern Orthodox churches, and you'll see them with sort of that round top, which is like multicolored and stuff. I always loved those churches. They just look so cool. Some pretty ornate Catholic churches, things of that nature. I like to actually go up there and visit when I do that Pennsylvania historic marker. Maybe when I go and do Pottsville or something like that, and then go around to some of these churches and just show them quickly, just so you can get a view of the really unique, cool churches that they have there in Shenandoah. Very neat place. A lot of those towns, I really love them. I talked about the Annville and the About Town series. Some of these smaller towns. Sorry. So I had to stop the video there for a second because I got one of those tickles in the throat. It was like, la, 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 la. So, anyways, those old towns like Pottsville, I talk about in Annville Town Square how all those buildings that used to be on the squares are gone, and how it's cool going through towns like Pottsville, Tamaqua, because you have a lot of that architecture that's still remaining from, say, Victorian era, which would be like 1817s, 1880s, into like the Art Deco time period. And you have a lot of these buildings have, this is known as the Thompson Building, or this is known as such and such. That's another one that I want to do, which I can do. I'm not going to go deeply into the history of a lot of these buildings in Lebanon, but I'm going to do the historic district. It's probably about a 3-block radius, and then I'm going to go down Chestnut Street as well, or actually it'd be 8th Street, I'm sorry, it'd be 8th Street, because there's a lot of cool history in that area. And then just go up to where the old jail used to be. It's now the Lebanon Valley or Lebanon Farmers Market, and that's a really neat building. That replaced the jail because it burnt down. But anyways, so a whole bunch of really cool stuff coming up on the channel. I wanted to do that short mail time. I always say this is going to be short, and never does, because I just can't quit yapping and coughing and all that good stuff. But I want to say thank you as always. Thank you to the folks that like Robbie, Concerned Grandma, Kate, Colleen. The emails that you guys send me mean a lot. They really do. If I don't get back sometimes, it's just so much is going on right now, and I'm not feeling that great on and all, because it just, my back is sort of, one day, like Monday, it was great, and then Tuesday, it was brutal. Just something sets it off, and it just is what it is. But I'm doing well. This is just another one of those little bumps in the road. You get sick, you get a stomach bug, it is what it is. This too shall pass, and we'll be on to more videos with the channel and more cool stuff. And I really do believe there's a lot of really cool stuff upcoming with the channel. Cliff and I are going to try to do some more co-oping. There's a place that we want, I think I talked about it shortly, maybe in the video with Ralph. Obviously, we're going to be doing more stuff between me and Ralph, because I think the personalities match well. Ralph really knows his stuff. So when we go on hikes like that, it's going to be less of me talking and more of Ralph talking, because that whole excuse me, that whole area, him, excuse me, his first wife really hiked that a lot, and that's like his daughter Brandy knows so much about that area because she went with him, and that's just sort of what they did. So he really, like, the knowledge he has is great, because there's so much cool history. Like, a lot of it, there's nothing really much that exists back there anymore except some foundations and things of that nature, but he's just a wealth of knowledge. And I like the way too that Ralph presents stuff. He's very fun and enjoyable to listen to. So we'll have more of that. But Cliff and I, we've talked about when we did a Gettysburg series back, I believe, in like July, August. We talked about potentially doing a monuments video and memorials there at Gettysburg, because there's so many of them. Like Little Round Top, for instance, you'll have probably 100 different memorials and monuments, like really tiny ones that are dedicated to the 4th Connecticut Infantry Division was here, or regiment, or whatever it might be. So what we talked about would be cool to do is research those individual units, where they came from, Sorry, once again. When they enlisted, those types of things. Because I think it'd be cool, especially, you know, depending on where you are. Because a lot of the people that view this channel, and I think a lot of the people that view and subscribe to Cliff's channel are Americans, most likely. I mean, there's a lot of people from around the world, but say you're in Connecticut and you have the unit in the Civil War, where they served, you know, when they enlisted, some of the names of the commanders and that type of stuff, some of the things of note with those regiments or whatever they were, the size depending on what they were. I think that's something that is of note and people would appreciate and learn something about their small town. Sorry, the role that they played always seems to happen on videos. Like, I won't cough for the longest time, and all of a sudden it's like, guess what? Yay! But anyways, we're going to end with that. I'm going to say thank you once again, as always. And like I said, I'm hoping maybe the Donamore station and the mansion, maybe I'll get that up tonight, probably most likely tomorrow. And we'll go from there. So once again, thank you, everybody. Mail time. Thank you for all the emails and letters, encouragement, the gifts. Really do appreciate it. This channel is what it is because of you guys. So thank you as always, and we will see you all about town.